Good day to you all children. Today in the chapter motion we will be learning about the last two concepts. That is, first concept is equations of motion. Since you have learned this concept in your previous year, so this concept or this part has been skipped from your syllabus. So in this class we will not be deriving the equations, but we will just be going through them, looking at each of them. And the second concept which we will be looking at is the circular motion. And so first, equations of motion. What are equations of motion? So whenever a body travels in a straight line or whenever a body exhibits rectilinear motion, we can relate or we can give mathematical relationships for various physical quantities like displacement, velocity, acceleration, and with respect to time. So these mathematical relations are known as equations of motion. So here it says that when an object moves in a straight line, it is possible to relate its displacement, velocity and acceleration in a certain time interval by a set of equations. So these set of equations are called as equations of motion. Although there are 5 to 6 equations of motion, for your syllabus there are only 3. And these equations of motion can be derived by graphically using a velocity time plot. So the VT plot, how does that velocity time plot look like? In the previous class we learnt about different types of velocity time plots. Here we will be looking at a body moving with constant acceleration. So whenever we say constant acceleration, which is positive, then the VT plot is a straight line. We learnt about that. So here is the picture of our VT plot. Time on x-axis and velocity on y-axis. So the pink line or the red line AB, which you can see in this graph, is the velocity time plot for our object, which is moving with a constant acceleration. So in the beginning the object was moving with some initial velocity u. Okay, and that initial velocity from the point of origin, that is O, from O, that initial velocity was at point A. So that is why the graph starts from point A. The initial velocity when time was 0 was equal to u. That is u. They have shown that OA is equal to u. And then as time progressed, the velocity of the object changed and it went up to the point B. So CB, the line segment CB represents the final velocity. So here you can see two rectangles. One is AOCD, first rectangle, and the second rectangle is OCBE, that is the second rectangle. And time T, OCADEB will all be equal to time. That's what it says here. OA is equal to CD, OA is equal to CD is equal to U, that is initial velocity, because they are opposite sides of a rectangle and they will be equal. And similarly OE is equal to CB, OE is equal to CB. Since CB is equal to V, that is final velocity, OE is also equal to V, because once again they are opposite sides of a rectangle. And AB, we know that slope of our VT plot is always acceleration. So AB is equal to A, that is acceleration. And in the end OC is equal to AD is equal to EB, which is equal to time T in seconds. So using these informations we used to derive the equations of motion, but sadly the derivation has been removed from your syllabus. So we will just go through what those equations are. So the first equation, in the first equation it relates final velocity to of the object to its initial velocity and acceleration. So here we will be relating V with U and A. So the equation is of the form V is equal to U plus at, where v is final velocity, u is initial velocity, a is acceleration, and t is time taken by the object to achieve that acceleration. So here rearranging this equation, you will get the acceleration mathematical formula, that is a is equal to v minus u by t. If you rearrange this equation, you will get that. So v is equal to u plus at is our very first equation of motion. Then going to the second equation. In the first equation, we related final velocity to initial velocity and acceleration. So what should we do when we don't know the final velocity, but we know displacement? If we know displacement and initial velocity and acceleration of an object, then we can make use of the second equation of motion. So that's what it says. The second equation relates displacement to initial velocity and acceleration. So the equation is s is equal to ut plus half at square. S is displacement of the object, u is the initial velocity, a is the acceleration, and t is the time taken. So the last equation of motion, in the last equation you don't have to worry about measuring time for the object. You just have to know acceleration, velocities, and the displacement. Based on all these three quantities, we can describe the motion of the object. So here third equation relates acceleration, displacement, initial and final velocities. So the third equation gives relationship between these four quantities, that is acceleration, displacement, initial velocity, and final velocity. So this is the equation. In this equation there is no need for including time. The equation works even without usage of time here. So 2as is equal to v square minus u square is the last and final equation of motion, which is for your syllabus. So each of this equation, the using these equations to calculate the problems or the solving the numericals is based on what is given. If you have final velocity, initial velocity, and acceleration with the time, then you can make use of first equation, that is v is equal to u plus at. Based on what is given to you, you have to decide what equation you are going to use, because all the three equations integrate different kinds of parameters. In the first equation it was v is equal to u plus at. There was no displacement in first equation. In the second equation it was s is equal to ut plus half at square. In that equation there was no mention of final velocity. Whereas in the third equation 2as is equal to v square minus u square, there is no mention of time. So based on what is given to you, you have to choose which equation you are going to use for solving any given particular numerical problem. So moving ahead, this is all of this must be present in your fire book. Moving ahead, you can look at this picture here. Here you can see a satellite revolving around a planet. This is a satellite which is revolving around a planet, and you can see the path it is tracing here. The path traced by the object is a circle. So this kind of motion is known as circular motion. But we are supposed to study about uniform circular motion. So what is uniform circular motion? When an object moves in a circular path, when an object, here look here, the satellite, it is moving in a circular path. So when an object moves in a circular path with an uniform speed, it is said to exhibit uniform circular motion. So whenever an object which is tracing a circular path has a uniform speed or velocity, we say that it is exhibiting uniform circular motion. Also you can look here, there are two arrow marks pointing out from this satellite. So one arrow mark the notation says V, and on another arrow mark which is pointing towards the center, they have given the notation A. That means it gives the directions of those two parameters. V is velocity and A is acceleration. These two arrow marks show that velocity and acceleration are perpendicular to each other. But our matter of interest here is acceleration. You can see that acceleration is pointing towards the center, and it is well known fact that force and acceleration always are oriented in the same direction. So this kind of acceleration, or the force associated with this kind of acceleration, which is pointing towards the center of a circle, is known as centripetal force and centripetal acceleration. So here see, the paragraph is the same thing. Here the acceleration and force acting on the object is the satellite here. So here the acceleration and the force acting on the object is directed towards the center of the circle. Whenever the force or acceleration is directed towards the center of the circle, they are called as centripetal force and centripetal acceleration. The opposite of this force, if the force is acting outside or opposite from the center, it is known as centrifugal force. Towards the center, centripetal; away from the center, centrifugal. In uniform circular motion, we always notice a centripetal force, and it is of utmost importance whenever we study planetary motions, satellites. So types of circular motion. So there are many types of circular motions actually, but I want to focus on two main types. That is, one is rotation and the other is revolution. You can clearly see the difference between both of these types of motions here. Both are circular. In both types of motion, the object is tracing a circular path. So both are types of circular motion itself, but the difference is, in a rotation, the body is moving around itself along a particular axis. The red line in the left side figure, the axis, the body is moving around that axis. For example, our earth rotates about an axis, that causes day and night. Similarly, the top which you play, when you throw a top releasing it from the thread, then it rotates about an axis passing through the center of its body. So rotation is a circular motion when an object rotates about an axis passing through its body. Whereas in revolution, you can see this man revolving around that central red dot. This is revolution. The body moves around a circular path about a particular fixed point. Planets revolving around the sun. There we don't call that it as rotation, it is revolution. So whenever a fixed axis is not involved, then it becomes revolution. When an axis comes into play, then it becomes rotation. So this, and finally we come to the final concept of this chapter, and that is velocity in circular motion. Since we are talking about motion, we have to describe the velocity. We talked about acceleration and force in the previous section, so let us look at velocity. So the velocity v is the notation used. Velocity v of the object exhibiting uniform circular motion is given by the formula v is equal to 2 pi r by t. So since you observed there, the object was covering a circular distance. So that circular path is nothing but circumference of the circle with fixed radius. So 2 pi r is the circumference of that circle, of that path that the object is tracing, and t is the time taken. So velocity v is equal to 2 pi r by t, where pi is the constant which we know has the value 3.14 or 22/7. So whenever we write the formulas, we have to write what each of those notations or symbols we used in the formula mean. So here we know that velocity is v, r is the radius of the circular path, and T is the time taken to complete one rotation, or it is also known as time period. So this completes your motion chapter. Thank you.